Hey loyal viewer, stop stalking me. Welcome to Schvitz'n with Norm. This show is all about fitness and tomfoolery. On today's show, we have a couple weird lifts for you. We're going to brush up on our math skills with some little girl that hangs out around the cable station. And we have an interview with Artie Lynch, up-and-coming football star, Dartmouth High graduate. And then we'll probably just have some filler material if we need more time. First up on Weird Lift of the Week, or Weird Lift of the Month, whichever it is right now, we have Alexis DeBross. We call her Lexi around here. She is a graduate of New Bedford High. She's playing softball at Central Connecticut now, and she's going to help us out with some AB and AD deduction. We're here with Lex DeBross, probably the best athlete that ever went to New Bedford High. She graduated. She is now a collegiate athlete. She went and blew her knee out playing the wrong sport. That was your fault, actually. But she's on the comeback trail. She's actually 100%. She is going to tear it up this season. She's a very gifted softball player. She can do anything, but we're going to show you a little bit, not of a rehab kind of thing. We're going to demonstrate an AB, AD deduction kind of thing, which was part of her, rehab program, if you knew what you were doing anyway. And so we're going to work the ins and outs, AD from the lat and toward. That's going to be what we're doing first. And then we'll show you the opposite. So hit it. And so we're on a slide board, we're just kind of using a slide board here to get the job done. So knees are unlocked. There you go. Perfect. Just give us like 5. Good. That's looking good. All right, relax. This isn't even a leg day for her. But she's just stepping up and helping us out. Hey kids, we're back. This is a week later where we're in the same clothes because we're gross like that. And so we already showed you AD deduction. Now we're going to go AB deduction. So now she's going to be her pushing out muscles. So same position, please. There you go. And when you're doing this, you don't want to use a band that's going to break because that will get you in trouble. And I've actually seen that before. All right, and incidentally, this is how Michael Jackson learned the moonwalk originally before he made it famous in Billie Jean. We thank Lex for helping us out with this week's show. She's the only athlete that has demanded an appearance fee so far, so thank you. Here's our handshake, and with a snap. Good. Want them to follow you on Twitter?
Sure.
Will you have all your friends follow me on Twitter? Follow Alexa on Twitter. She is going to tear it up this year. She is, for real, a great softball player. She is really frustrated because she had to sit out last year. Now she's going to be awesome, so check that out. Also, we have an all Georgia show this week in salute to Artie, the A-Train Lynch. Wave. And now, the Artie Lynch interview. Artie was a tight end at Dartmouth High with no receptions before he met me. After I taught him how to power clean, things started really taking off for him. He ended up playing for Georgia as a Bulldog, had a really great career over there. At the time of the interview, he was part of the Miami Dolphins organization. It was in the winter time. Then Sue lost all the footage and we have to edit after the fact. And so now none of the questions apply, but it's still good. He's with the Jets now. And I think things are going to work out okay for him. So here you go.
Throw to the tight end Lynch. They have used Gurley running to the flat and Lynch running underneath patterns so beautifully in this game.
Today's guest is Artie Lynch. He's a local Dartmouth High player. Well, he's not there anymore. He's moved on. But we actually originally tried to get Aaron Hernandez, but his lawyer would not allow him to talk to us, so he is the replacement.
I didn't start playing football till high school, but I think people always expected me to play. I mean, I was always a bigger kid. I played everything else but football, but since my grandfather coached for so long at Dartmouth High, and just people just expected it. But it was probably after my junior season that I really believed in myself that I could play at a very high level. My freshman, sophomore year, I just was. My expectations were Division I, even if it was UMass Amherst or 1AA or something like that. Right. That was that's what I want to do. I want to get a scholarship. And then once I kind of started growing into my body and kind of understanding the game of football, I really thought I could play at a fairly high level. And I always try to size myself up to kids around the country, because since recruiting now is really it's such a put on public display, and you can look up any high school player you want. Anybody can. It's not like a really difficult task, I guess when it was the way it used to be. People actually had to go scout, but everything's on the internet. So I basically would compare myself to other guys, other tight ends, other defensive ends, because that's something I played. And when all these offers started coming in, end of my sophomore summer and juniors, going to my junior season, I really want to take a step back and think about where I want to go. And in my mind, it was always Boston College. My mom had gone there, my sister had gone there, but something just didn't feel right about it when I first committed there. Mm-hmm. And I always felt like there was a plateau at that program, and really not in the ACC in general, but just at BC. I always told myself, if I want to be the best that I can, right, you have to play against the best.
Play action, fake to Gurley this time, and they'll throw to the tight end. Lynch makes the catch at the sideline, enough for a first down, out to the 34-yard line. He beat a good one, Jean-Baptiste.
If you go somewhere and you do something, you don't want to do it half-assed. You want to put everything into it. Right. I sat back and looked at the perspectives, or possible perspectives, where I would be in 4 or 5 years had I gone to BC or UConn compared to Georgia or Florida. I looked at it I was like, if I ended up being a flop, so be it. But at least I did it against the best, and I just wasn't good enough. And to me, I could live with myself. But if I went to UConn or BC or Maryland or anything that I just didn't think where football was as important to the culture, and I flopped, I would have just been I half-assed it, and I didn't want to do that. Kids down south dream of playing at Georgia or Florida or whatever. I didn't really dream of it. I just always dreamt of trying to, this sounds corny, but be the best version of myself while playing football. And so that's what I always had in the back of my mind, and I think I ultimately achieved it. But I think Georgia just kind of presented itself to me to where in order to be the best version of myself, I had to go that route. And so that would be my advice to anybody really, no matter what it is just if you
picking a school though is such what a slippery slope that is, because you could have not making fun of Penn State. You could have ended up at Penn State. That was on the board. And that's a great football program. But if you ended up there right after that horrible scandal and all of that, that would have been you would have been in a worse situation. Well, so that's why I think there's a little bit of luck of it, a luck or fate. I don't really know what to call it. But an interesting fact, I remember by the time I was a senior, going to my senior year, I had a top 5 or 6 schools I was looking at. It was BC, really considering BC, UVA, UNC, Florida, in Georgia, and Penn State, I guess, too, so about the 7. And Georgia was the only one that still has the same head coach. And I think that's just a good example of what college football is that they're looking for instant gratification in these donors, these presidents, chancellors. They want to be satisfied because football is the moneymaker. Every year, the top 10 recruiting classes, 5 to 7 of them are SEC schools. So I knew that I'd be competing against the very best every day, not just in the games, but in practice. And I look back on it now, and I'm saying, I went to Georgia. Justin Houston is a perennial Pro Bowler. I had to practice against him every day. Jarvis Jones, he was a first-round pick. Practiced him against every day. Geno Atkins, another guy.
Rashad, and I'm looking at it, and then now I go in the NFL where it's such a highly competitive league, and it's like, I had this sense of competitive nature when I was 18 because of where I went. And yeah, I think you get thrown into some situations that you might not be, ready for, but I think I played as a true freshman, my first game ever, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I was, petrified, but at the same time, I was excited. And I think that was the cool thing about it is, when your number's called, you kind of have to, answer.
So when did the sleazeball agents start sniffing around, telling you that you should sign with them and you were going to get drafted?
Probably my junior year.
Okay.
Yeah, and I knew I wasn't going to leave after my junior season, so I was just I didn't really pay them any mind. I had people guys that I had played with at Georgia who texted me be like, hey, when you're ready, I'd like for you to talk to my guy. And I was like, all right. And
that's what they do, huh? They send their own players to be
talk to Artie for but I mean, just because from a legal standpoint too, it's I think there's guidelines and rules for the NCAA, but yeah, I mean, I think.
So when were you thinking? I guess if you lace them up at Georgia, everybody that plays there dreams of having a tryout shot.
That was my end goal when I was in high school. I mean,
when was it becoming a reality that it's
probably the end of my redshirt sophomore year. I mean, I wasn't a starter, but I was playing a lot more, more significant playing time, and then I was just I looked at guys that I was some guys that were ahead of me as tight ends that were going to the league, and then guys who I would play against in practice or in games. I'd be like, if these guys can play and are seen as legitimate prospects, there's no reason why I can't. And then I had a really good junior year, and I think that's when I was okay, there's going to be at least a shot. There's going to be a tryout. And then I think I had a solid senior year, and then obviously that ultimately led to me getting drafted. I knew I wasn't going to go the first round. I mean, it's just I wasn't a first round tight end, and I was completely
They don't even take tight ends for the most part.
Yeah, anyway. So it's I wasn't and second round was definitely a stretch, but once more tight ends were coming off the board in the first and second round, my agent was third round's a possibility, and the last two picks of the third round were both teams that I had talked to and had interest to me, the Ravens and the Packers, and they both picked tight ends. It was the last two picks of the third round. And so then I started getting nervous, and I was all right, this is no longer fun. This is the anticipation was more turning into anxiety, and I was just
And where were you?
I was at my house with my
with your family.
Yeah, actually, Mello was there. A couple other my buddies were there, but it was just my mom and my grandparents, and I didn't want to have a big ordeal because my worst nightmare would be go rent out I don't know, someplace, and then I'm sitting there and I don't get drafted. I'm just well, this is what karma is, So I just kind of kept to myself. But
when that phone rang, though, can you just emotionally, not what?
You almost black out to a sense. You're sitting there, hey, because every time your phone rang and you expected it to be someone, and so my agents were texting me the whole time. They're be by your phone. Miami's it's gonna be Miami, and that was the pick before, and so you kind of know before they come on the screen. But it was cool. I don't remember any of the conversation I had. Weird. I talked to the GM, the coach, and I'm just sitting there
After you hung up though, you must have been pumped that it's
it was over. Yeah. But it's crazy because the next day you're on a flight and you're going to Miami. So it's not you're you get drafted and then you're get a couple weeks to hang out or just kind of set in let you think about it. The next day, after I spoke to the coaches. And they put you on the media stuff down there right away. They're okay, this is our player personnel. What's your info? What's the best hotel or airport to go out of? And you're on a flight, and you don't you're gone for 2 months, 3 months, and it's crazy because I lived in a hotel from May until August. That was my home, and it was nice. I never had to make my bed, because it was always made for me in the morning. But other than that, it was just
I have a staff for that here.
Do you? Yeah, I figured so.
Who is a better quarterback, Sean Sylvia or Aaron Murray?
Aaron Murray.
Who's a better defensive back, Sean Sylvia, Aaron Murray?
Sean Sylvia.
Who's a bigger jerk, Pete Rossi or Mike Capello?
Pete Rossi.
Luckily, he doesn't get this channel where he is, so you're safe. I don't know if that's...
This isn't very rapid. You gotta come at me.
All right, I'm trying to just kind of, yeah. All right, we can just edit out the in-between stuff, right? What is your favorite weird lift of the week?
The one when you are in that park and the ketchup one?
Not a weird lift, but a good video nonetheless. Let's look through your contacts and let's leave messages for people right now.
Okay.
Do you have Gronk's number?
No.
You had Gronk's number. Let's call Gronk.
I never had Gronk's number.
You had Gronk's number. Yeah, I know. That's not cool. Yo, Aaron, what's going on? This is Norm Meltzer. You know, Artie Lynch's strength coach from back home. Listen, the guy from the beer lift. I think you watched that video. Anyway, listen, I emailed you like 2 years ago to get a retweet, and you never answered my email. I was a little bit disappointed. So we're filming this. I have a low-budget cable fitness show. We're interviewing Artie right now, so you're on TV, kind of. And so, listen, if you have the time, maybe you can call over and give us a Skype interview one day, or maybe you can at least retweet this show one day.
What's up, Aaron? It's Artie.
And also, we have a feeling you're screening, and all of our feelings are hurt. But anyway, listen, man, I hope you had a great training off season, and you tear it up this year, dude. All right, like we have heat. Come on, get in here.
What?
This is our old stomping grounds.
This is it.
Oh, you want to try to get by me, and I'll try to block you?
Yeah,
Or
let's
you
do
want
it.
to try to get?
Can I like go for real?
No.
I basically lost Norm like a substantial amount of business because like I would just sit here and talk to him for hours while he was like training kids, and like these poor kids were like just trying to get better and be good humans, and I was just sitting here being a degenerate.
And he also would text.
Yeah, like when Norm actually wanted to have a conversation, I would just completely ignore him.
All right, actually, just to give him a taste, to give the people sit on that ball. I'll grab the other. Actually, you should be on this one.
No, I want to be on this one.
All right. This portion of the interview will be done via text. We're gonna put a picture of our legs next to each other, and we're gonna have a little contest. Anybody that can guess which is his and which is mine, if you're the 11th emailer to our station manager, what do we have for prizes? Can you get us a tight end glove?
Yeah, I can get some gloves.
All right, you can get a ratty tight end glove or a t-shirt that says I love New Bedford. So we thank the big man for joining us in the Monster Factory today for our second interview. Awesome job. And you know what, man? You've come a long way interview skill-wise because
Thanks, boy. I
you
appreciate
sounded really awesome. And so...
I usually don't get to cuss and talk about wine.
Well, all right, and so we bid you farewell. We're going to just chalk
it up?
All right.
We're going to chalk up and slap hands?
No, I'm chest dusting you. Hold on. By your side. Good interview. Chest dust for you.
Thanks, pal. Thank you for having me. You saw that one coming.
Here's my dad in a new segment called Bad Habit of the Week. Hi, we've decided to exploit Q Kids for ratings, and so co-hosting today's show is Riley. And so say Schvitz'n with Norm and Riley.
Schvitz'n with Norm and Riley.
I mean, say you're watching Schvitz'n with Norm and Riley.
Schvitz'n with Norm and Riley.
But just say you're watching.
I'm watching.
They're watching. Okay, that's good enough. Hey, Sesame Street, thank you for not returning any of my calls or emails. Listen, we don't even need your help. We can do our own numeracy segment without you. So that's what we're about to do. And you know what? If you actually saw my SAT scores, I don't even think they did that great of a job anyway.
1 dumbbell snatch. 2 weightlifting straps.
You gotta smell this, it's disgusting.
3 push jerks.
I dropped it. Sorry about that.
4 box jumps.
You hear that landing? No, you did not. That was like a butterfly with sore ankles.
5 medicine balls. 6 Zerker squats.
Say it.
That was only 6.
Oh, that was 7.
Cheater.
Shut up, you don't know how to count.
He's cheating. 8 dumbbells,
Wait, they're only 7.
including you, Norm. 9 plate flips. Wait, how much am I getting paid for this?
I already gave you a t-shirt. 10 protein bars! So Riley, there are 2.2046 pounds to every kilogram. We are using a kilogram bar, that's 20 kilos. We have 2 20-kilo plates on that. That's 60 kilograms. How many pounds is that?
132.
That's exactly right. All right, so now we're going to complicate things where we're going to mix some pounds, some kilos. Look at how thin that is. That's a kilo plate. Look, come on, can you believe that? That's a 20-kilo plate. They don't even make these anymore. Okay, so we're all kilos. Now, I'm going to throw 35 pounds. By the way, we're never supposed to mix kilos and pounds, but just for today, to dazzle everyone with your math skills, then I'm going to throw a 10 on each side, over that. You paying attention? Now I'm taking this 10 off, misloading. 5. How much weight is on this bar right now?
305.
That's exactly correct. Good job. We want to thank Riley for an awesome co-hosting job today. We actually did some legit Schvitz'n. Look at this shirt, and we both stink. She's wearing the Go Stink shirt. I actually do stink. And so, do you have anything you want to add to today's show?
No.
Can I tell you a joke before we go? Come on, one joke. Ready? What do you call a monkey that likes to work out a lot? A chimpanzee. Our next Weird Lift demonstrator is Justin Bennett. He is going to be entering his senior year at New Bedford High School. He's a 2-sport guy. He made 2 super teams, they tell me. I'm not sure if that's true, but we think it probably is. And he's going to be showing us something about hip extension. And so you're going to want to really pay attention to that one because he does a heck of a good job for us. This is Jay Bennett's nephew. The kid is hilarious. He's very gifted in track and golf, but we're leaning toward golf now.
Oh no.
Okay. Anyway, the kid's awesome. He's wins most races unless someone that he's competing against is faster than him. So he's had really good success. So we are going to talk a little bit about hip extension and the importance of hip extension. So just give us a body weight squat. All right, come up. So he's done right there. If he does a step up, does a lunge, same kind of thing. So what we need to do when we're running track, right, when you push off this leg, you have this camera lady? when we're going to have like that exaggerated hip extension. That doesn't happen in the weight room unless we make it happen, because again, when you're done with the squat, step up, you're only to here, but when you're pushing off, propelling your body forward, it's going to be like much more exaggerated than that. So he's going to show you one of the moves that we like for this, and so here we go. So Justin's going to give us a few lying hip extensions with his foot on this ball. As you'll notice, once he gets going, there's going to be a much more exaggerated range of motion than that would occur on like a squat or a lot of leg press, regular weight room stuff. So show us what it looks like, bud. There we go. Good. Yeah. And so see if you can look at that nice hip extension, and he's also on a ball, and he's having to prevent that ball from rolling around. So he's bringing in a lot of other stabilizing kind of muscles as well, besides just his hip extensors. So this was just one example of that exaggerated hip extension. We have many different moves that we achieve the same sort of thing. This is one of our favorites. We will also use a regular plyo box. It doesn't move. I like the ball because, you know, he's going to have to stay on top and use a lot of other muscles. We use basketballs, like anything that's going to want to roll on you more. It's going to be a challenge. So give that one a shot. Great hamstring work. All right, thank you, Justin, for helping us out today. Listen, keep an eye on this kid. He has a really big future. I think you're going to want to see how his life turns out. Again, we got the track, we got the golf happening, the demonstration. Can you please tell the importance of hip extension for the people watching this? Because we have very high ratings.
It's very important to runners in general.
Excellent point. Follow him on MySpace. All right, here we got some bonus footage for you. We're gonna throw in an extra weird lift of the week for you all with Riley's help. This is called the Shaka press. I'm gonna give her a hang loose sign. You're gonna grab onto my pinky, my thumb, and I'm gonna, take from there. You got to be tight. We live in a very litigious society, and I can't afford any more problems than I already have. Okay? Do you want to chalk up first? I'm gonna chalk up.
No.
You want chalk? Chalk up. Okay. Here you go. Hang loose, baby. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Woohoo! For anyone who may have been watching this thing, thank you. We'll be back in another couple months probably. Also, thank you to our leader, Jim Marshall. Also, if anyone has any complaints, you should send them to our leader, Jim Marshall. Compliments would go to Sue and Gus, the camera guy. On today's show, we want to thank Riley to help us out. We have Artie Lynch. Great job, big man. I hope things are going well for you. And thanks, Dad, who did, again, he really stepped it up when he's not feeling so great. And I think that should just about do it. We have some great things planned for future shows, but I'm not really allowed to tell you because then that would ruin the surprise. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Also, thanks to Lexi for helping us out with the weird lift, and also Justin Bennett. And also my apologies for anyone that didn't like the show. We're doing the best we can. You know what? It's not that great, but it's pretty much more watchable than half the other stuff you see on TV anyway. Bad pass. Oh, good save. All right, let's try to get a rally. 1, 2. Oh! Well, back and forth. You want me to you? Okay. Back.
You can't really do one with that balance it.
Oh.